What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now I'm gonna do my post-fight analysis real quick. The Omar Figueroa fight that ended very quickly in the first round. He was able to get his opponent Abner Mars out of there, or excuse me, Abner Cotto. I'm sorry, out of there, and it looked like they put some filler stuff, talking to Robert Guerrero via satellite and all kinds of stuff. And then it was the main event: Austin Trout versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now I got to put out a few disclaimers. I did think Trout would outbox Canelo throughout the duration of the fight. Um, Here's my little disclaimer. This is my disclaimer. I think Canelo looked a lot better than I even expected in terms of his defense, in terms of everything, really. He showed like tremendous head movement. He's always shown the power and the combination punching and underestimated speed. And he did a lot of things right. So this my beef with this whole video is not even about Canelo because he's not the judge, he's not the scoring. It's fucking Texas. It's the way that fights are scored. It's the open scoring. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I'm not going to go as far as calling the fight a robbery, but I will say this: this was a very close fight, very close fight. And I knew going in that Canelo had more power. I mean, that was given, and he did knock down Austin Trout and had him badly hurt. I think it was in round 7. So when I watch a boxing match, there's certain inherent things that I already knew. I knew Canelo had more power than Austin Trout. I think their KO records speak to that as well. So when I watch boxing, I watch it for the sweet science, for the actual sport of it, and I figure in a whole bunch of things when I make my predictions and when I'm watching the fight to determine who's winning. Um, but the way some of the judges score it and some of the fans score it, power is everything. So if you have more power, you're automatically going to win. That's why some people were like saying Nonito beat Rigondeaux because, I don't know, because Rigondeaux was running. So again, this is not even a diss to Canelo because I think he looked very sharp in this fight. But the open scoring, I mean, let's keep it real. This is bullshit because, like I said, I can't say it's a robbery. It was a very close fight. If you're talking about power, Canelo clearly had power advantages and was able to hurt his man, Austin Trout. And it looked like he buckled a couple times throughout the fight. But I knew that going in that Canelo had more power. However, Canelo was fighting in spurts, taking rounds off, taking breaks in between the rounds, which made those rounds even that much closer. If he was able to apply a constant pressure and look as explosive as he did in certain rounds or finish Austin Trout, then I'd be like, damn, okay, cool. But it looks like he has stamina issues where he conserves all of his energy or he tires out, and he's very young, so he just like recharges the battery. It's like you have your cell phone and the battery's on 2% and you charge it for 30 minutes. Now you're not on 100% charge, but you got maybe 15 to 25% battery, and that's what he does. It's just like I want to see Canelo more or less a full charge or closer to a full charge, closer to that 100%, 80% charge. But I really see him in spurts, and I've mentioned that in previous videos, and that's the biggest thing that's going to hurt him as he steps up in more competition and with certain fighters because he lets people steal rounds. There's some rounds where the whole beginning of the round, like the knockdown round, Austin Trout was knocked down within the first, I think, 10 seconds of the round beginning. So he had 3 minute rounds. He was hurt in the first 10 seconds. So basically, Canelo had like 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get him out of there. And it just seemed that he couldn't pull the trigger. He was like gassed out or whatever. And he allowed Austin Trout to fight back. Now, you could easily argue that the round that Austin Trout got knocked down, it was a 10-9 round instead of a 10-8, even with the knockdown, because I think Austin Trout, he recovered very well and he outworked Canelo in that round. I still give it a 10-8 just because of where my scorecards were. I thought it was a solid, I mean, because he had Austin Trout really hurt where his legs were like noodles. So I scored it a 10-8, but I wouldn't be opposed to someone who scored it a 10-9 because Austin Trout fought his way back into the round. To be honest, I stopped scoring the fight midway as soon as the Showtime commentator said that it's open scoring and they had Canelo up by this insane margin. I said, fuck it, I'm not even scoring it because now the problem with open scoring is, first of all, it's in a close fight like this. if a fighter knows that he's drastically behind, or if the opponent knows that he's drastically ahead, then that changes the whole dynamic of the fight, and it kind of steals the fun away from it. Like if you have a significant other, for example, and for Christmas they're like, oh, okay, it's December 1st. This is what I'm getting you for Christmas. So you go the whole month and you already know exactly what you're getting. Now, a gift's a gift. That's cool. But at the same time, it kills the whole element of Christmas to me, like the whole surprise and can't sleep on Christmas Eve because you got to wake up real early and you're shaking your presents to try to guess what's inside of it. And like I said, waking up real early, can't sleep, trying to figure out what you got for Christmas on Christmas morning. And to me, as a kid, I love that feeling. It's just like you have anxiety, you can't sleep, you're tossing and turning, and you just keep reliving and can't wait to wake up. You just want to hurry up and sleep. And I attribute that to the open scoring. It just takes away the element of surprise. So now you have Austin Trout, who is not, he's more or less a slick boxer who has to step outside of his comfort zone, step outside of what he knows to do best, and fight a whole different fight because he knows he's down by 4 or 5 rounds. So like I said, I stopped watching it. I mean, excuse me, I didn't stop watching. I stopped scoring it because I was like, fuck it. Unless he can knock Canelo out, it's a wrap. I mean, they already have him up by an insane margin. So as close as as well as a lot of other fans I was reading on Twitter and Dan Raphael had, it didn't matter at that point when we knew Canelo was up by by a fine margin. Like I said, I would never call a fight like this a robbery because it's very close. There's a lot of great close fights. I can't see it being a robbery. The robbery I see is the robbery in the open scoring. That's the best way to put it. That is the real robbery because now we don't know how Austin Trout would have looked in the final rounds had he fought whatever way, if it was unbeknownst to him what the judges' official scorecards were. Who knows how he would have fought? He might have got knocked out. He might have fought slicker or more his style. Who knows? I mean, that whole element of surprise is out the window, gone. So, like I said, this is not to take anything away from Canelo. I think he looked a lot sharper than I even expected him to. His defense looked like it has improved. He's a young fighter. He has a skill set, and he looked like he was in tremendous shape, and he was ready. The biggest complaints that I have is the open scoring, and the fact that Canelo was fighting in spurts like I predicted. It made the fight a lot closer than what the judges seen it, and based on the open scoring, it derails. If you're on game plan A and now you know you need to knock dude out in order to win, it just changes your whole mindset, forces you to make more mistakes, or forces you to not fight in your traditional way. And it would just be, even in the 12th round, it shows Canelo knew he was up by 3 to 5 rounds or by this insane margin. So as a result, he let his foot off the gas. He knows in his mind that he's up by 4 or 5 rounds or whatever. He knows the scorecards, the official scorecard. All he needs to do is not get knocked out, and he wins. So, like I said, that's the corruption in boxing. That's bullshit. I don't think any of the fighters should know where they're at any place other than what their corner's telling them or what they see with their own 2 eyes. It just kills it because, like I said, it kills it for both ends. Canelo might have been able to stop him had he thought it was a closer fight in his mind. If he thought it was a closer fight in his mind, maybe he dug down deep and said, you know what, I got to stop this guy because in my mind, I think Austin Trout might be up by a round or two, or I think it might be a draw, and I don't want it to be a draw. So it kills it for Canelo because now we don't even really know. He's able to coast, and we don't really know what he would do or what he was thinking, what his corner was thinking. Because if you listen to the commentary in the corners, the commentator or the trainers and whatnot were telling the fighter that it was a lot closer based on the responses they were giving, and then the judges just have these out of whack scorecards. I mean, if this fight was a draw, like I said, with everything that happened, I would give it to Canelo probably, or say it's a draw. I would either one, Canelo by 1 or 2 rounds, and that's just off the top of my head. not really looking at CompuBox numbers or whatever. But like I said, the whole element of surprise is completely gone with the open scoring, and that's what I have a problem with. And the judge that scored at 118 to 109, they should just be shot and maimed. Probably raped by the rape sloth. That's all I got to say. Like I said, Canelo, he looked sharp. He definitely let his power show. Austin Trout looked good. His work rate was high. But again, it's discouraging to me as a fan. And I know it's discouraging to Austin Trout, knowing based on these out of whack scorecards that he's going to have to do something that's not really in his nature in order to win. Because to be honest, it didn't look like Austin Trout, he was tagging Canelo, but it didn't look like he really ever had Canelo in a place where Canelo was hurt, about to go down. Even Cotto's brother, Jose Cotto, looked like they had Canelo hurt in the first round. So I don't think there was a place where Austin Trout had him hurt, but the fight was close because of his work rate, because he was still boxing, he was outboxing, and Canelo was fighting in spurts. But again, that's open scoring, that's boxing in Texas. What do you guys think of it? I did like Canelo's improvements in his defense, because in the fight with Alfonso Gomez, he was getting tagged against the ropes with a lot of shots, and he was just using great head movement, and he wasn't getting tagged with some of the same shots that I've seen him get tagged in the past. So he's showing that he can improve from fight to fight, and he's more of a smarter thinker than just the traditional Mexican brawler. Again, it was a hell of a fight. I liked it. I was enjoying it. The biggest discrepancy, or the biggest problem I have, is that open scoring, and the fact that each corner gets to know what the scores are midway through the fight. And on top of that, those scorecards were a lot more spread, or a lot wider of a margin than I think is fair. I don't think those were fair scorecards, to the point when they announced what the official scorecards were, maybe in the 6th or 7th round. I thought they were actually bullshit. So that's why I stopped scoring it. But props to Canelo. He stood up to the challenge. He did actually make a harder night for Austin Trout, just aside from even before that, by using head movement and just looking a little bit different than he has in other spots. Props to Austin Trout. I don't think he really took much damage to his career. I mean, he showed heart and perseverance from the knockdown and fighting back, possibly to make it a 10-9 round. Like I said, I enjoyed the fight. The politics and the corruption, the open scorecard, the questionable decisions in Texas, it just rubs me the wrong way, to be honest. That's all I could say. Even what's his name, the CEO of WBC, Saluamin, before the judgments were announced, he's like talking to Canelo and laughing. So it just lets me know that there's a lot of politics and powers that be in the sport of boxing. In the Donaire versus Rigondeaux fight, I think they were attempting to possibly do the same thing and rob Rigondeaux. If Rigondeaux didn't look as spectacular as he did, and he didn't win those rounds as convincingly as he did, then they probably would have said, fuck it, Donaire, you win. I mean, that's how I feel. Like, he's a crowd favorite. He's the higher grosser in terms of popularity. So it's just a lot of corruption in boxing, and that's the one thing that I don't like. Let the fight be the fight. Whoever wins, fair and square, wins. Fuck this open scoring. Let the fighters not know and come out with their best game plan. Let the corners not know, so they come out with their best game plan, and we see exactly what will happen. So that's just my thoughts on it. It was an interesting fight. I told you guys from the jump, it's 50-50. That's all I got to say. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.